Hi, I'm Luvuyo Equiano Nyawose, and I'm the curator of Umnyakazo, a solo exhibition by Thembinkosi Hlatshwayo at Goethe-Institut, Johannesburg. The exhibition is in collaboration with Wits History of Art and is framed under a program called Young Curators Incubator, which invites a curator to work with an artist to produce an exhibition over a period of 3 months. The exhibition uses Slages and Slages 2 as a point of departure to introduce a new unfolding body of work produced during the incubator period by Thembinkosi.
My name is Thembinkosi Hlatshwayo. I am from Loli, which is located in the deep south of Johannesburg. I studied photography in Market Photo Workshop, but before that I was in the initiative called Of Soul and Joy, which was the initiative that sponsored my furthering studies in the Market Photo Workshop. Slages is a work divided into 2 chapters, which are works that I created from 2018 and to 2019. So it's basically about my experiences of growing up in a home with a tavern, particularly the violent experiences of the space, which was something that was not perhaps spoken about between myself, and my family, and perhaps between myself and my community or surroundings. I think as I grew, I kind of wanted to kind of like confront the space and its memories, and how perhaps it marked me and what those markings mean also.
Over the past few months, Thembinkosi has been working and experimenting with various mediums, print mediums such as newsprint, wallpaper, lithography to produce the work. Curatorially, it was really important for me to explore various ways in which the medium of photography is experienced. So conceptually, Umnyakazo looks at either stillness, movement, or the moment in between, and this really articulates where Thembinkosi as an artist finds himself. The work looks at walls as lived archives, and looks at figures and people as people entering the space with embodied inherences. So essentially the exhibition becomes a meeting point of what audiences bring in and what they encounter, expressed through various mediums. And this really brings conversations around the preciousness around materiality, but also how audiences encounter the image. One of the most integral parts of the incubator was to really make the space a space for him to explore process. So most of the work unfolded during the 3-month period.
Initially, Luvuyo and Nondo had proposed to exhibit Slages in the first meeting. I remember, just exhibiting Slages perhaps in new ways, just experimental ways. My ideas that I've always wanted to explore. They really proposed a playful platform.
The exhibition is curated in 3 parts. When you enter, you're encountered by 2 works, one from Slages and the other from the unfolding series Umnyakazo. As you enter, the middle section is anchored by works from Slages. The Black Box Studio, which is the video room, has 2 videos as well as 3 prints, which also continue the conversation around both series. As you exit, you are met with a long wall which has markings and engravings on the wall, as well as printed images. Here you're presented with 2 notions. One, the image as we know it, but also image as text. During the incubator period, whilst conceptualizing and working on the exhibition, Thembinkosi would document and chronicle his experiences using public transport, coming to the space and going home, coupled with our conversations, as well as just general influences. And these are expressed on the walls, sometimes through literal text and sometimes through a mark. And so really what we're presenting here is that the image is not only an image in a 2D or 3D sense, but also through markings, which further reinforces the concept of marked and lived surfaces.
I appreciate it to work with someone who also wanted to just push me and push me and push me, you know, just beyond. And of course, there was also that push and pull thing, which is there in every working relationship, you know. But I think it was really interesting for me, you know. And I'm really hoping that, like, the relationship, there's an after to it, and it does not end with this project or this incubation.
The collaboration between Thembinkosi and I has been quite rich in various ways because, of course, I also have a practice as a photographer, and at times those lines were porous. At the core of the incubator was really process, and it was imperative for me to reiterate to Thembinkosi that what would it be like to present an image that you could revisit in your studio, rework, and really look at the image with various mediums in real time. Some of the images are printed on newsprint, for example, and they're faded over time. And of course, at the opening, some of the lithos were quite fresh, so the folding was different. So again, like, this conversation with material became quite interesting when I had been thinking about this curatorially. So it became an interesting, like, intersection or cross point where he was able to also bear that in mind and almost work freely, if you will, without having the pressure of producing, like, this shot. It goes without saying that being in a space like Goethe-Institut eases some of the pressures that one would experience, particularly being at the point we are in our careers, namely the commercial pressure, which we cannot ignore. For instance, with this exhibition, process has been integral as well as experimentation. So what the space fosters is for both me as curator and Thembinkosi as an artist to meet and really experiment with ideas, with concepts, without that added pressure, which has become a rarity given the precarity of resources in South Africa. So one would hope that spaces like this don't end with just us, and that more projects are encouraged to have similar points of engagement.
I create from specific feelings, you know, from an emotive space. So I really want that to also, you know, just come out within the space and also through the images, you know. I mean, I don't really have a particular direction geared to how the audience should feel about the work, but I'd like them to feel, you know, and experience the work.